Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Zebu Nation. This is Loser to Legend with Clyde FC, and today we have for you the mid-season review, Season 4 in Ladbrokes League 2, so let's get right to it. Let's just start with the competitions. It's the year of not messing around. But we're messing around a little bit. I don't like it. We are currently, after 18 games, in second place. One measly stinky point behind East Fife up here, as you can see. We've got 11 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses for a total of 36 points and a plus 14 goal differential, which is pretty good, especially considering last season when we were hovering around, 2 or 3 goal differential by this time in the season. So we're playing better, obviously, but East Fife is just edging us out, and I'm not happy about it. But we got some time left in the season. Our goal is, of course, promotion by winning the league. That's what the board expects. The rest of our competitions, we are, of course, knocked out of the Iron Brew. We're out of the Betfred Cup, of course, won by Celtic, which we got a long ways to go before we can beat them. But we're still in the Scottish Cup, and we're playing Brora up next. I don't believe that's the game we're going to be watching today. The schedule didn't quite match up. But we have entered the 4th round. Board expectation was to reach the 4th round, so we've got our expectation met there. And Brora is a team in our conference, so there's no reason why we can't beat them and go on even further into this competition. That would be outstanding. But what we're really focused on is League 2, and hopefully we can push on and reach the level that we're supposed to reach. All right, so now let's get on with the checklist. Run this down real quickly. Under 20s, no intakes as of yet. We got a few of our guys down there in the under 18s getting fit, but for the most part, it's all youngsters down there, other than, I guess, Robbie Hogg is currently... Now we got McNiff down there as well. So, some guys down there getting fit, but for the most part, nobody useful is in the under 20s. Financially, we've taken another dip, sort of the mid-season financial slide that seems to happen every season. We're 95,000 pounds in the hole. Of course, if you watched our earlier videos, you saw that the board has gone crazy with the payroll, giving us $520,000 this year. We've managed to spend $426,000 of it, but that's still a lot of payroll left, and it's actually surprising that we're only $95,000 in the hole, so the board must be getting extra financing from somewhere, because, just a couple of seasons ago, we were only spending like maybe 200,000, 230,000, maybe around there, and our payroll was even worse. We were over 100,000 in the hole. So I don't know where this extra money is coming from, or if it just hasn't reached that level yet. Because you see, back here in 2018, in July, we reached our negative peak here of 120K in the hole. So if we start the downward trend as we have in previous seasons, after, I guess that was July, wasn't it? I thought that was January. Anyway, so it looks like we've still got some ways to go until July. All right, forget all of that. I don't know finances anyway. Just don't spend more money than you have, and you'll be okay. That's my financial advice. So anyway, we made a profit of negative 233 pounds this month. I guess that's not bad. Let's get out of here before we say anything worse. All right, let's go to the board. How is the board viewing all this? We're secure. 58%. That's pretty good. I think we should be a little higher than that, honestly, considering how well we're doing. But maybe it's just the fact that we're not currently in first place, that we're only at 58% secure. Because if you look at the board confidence, it's really high in a lot of areas. Club philosophy, 100%. Finances, 72%, locker room atmosphere 70, leadership 85, tactics 73. I mean, I guess competitions were a little low at 47, 52. So I guess if you average these out, they could average around 58. I'm not terrific with math, as you may have surmised from our little financial update there. But anyway, I feel like we should be doing better. Club issues, how are we looking on club issues? Club stature, 50%, not really much has changed since then. Payroll budget, they're very confident, 72% as we looked at earlier. First team signings, of course, 100%. Delighted with the number of youngsters you signed. I wonder what the number is. Like, when they say sign youngsters for the first team, what I want to know is how many do they consider enough? Is it like 3, 4, 5? I don't know, because we signed 9 players. Not all of them were youngsters, but I don't know at what point did they reach 100%. Anyway, the one thing that's keeping us down here on the board confidence level here, or at least the club issues, is our job value, only at 16%. Since it would not cost much money to terminate your contract, you lack security on this front. So, I mean, I guess that's just what happens when you play in these lower leagues. You get a small contract for only 1 year so they can get rid of you. Even if they don't have to fire you, they could just not renew your contract at the end of the season and you're out. So job security is not in our favor, and I guess that's what's keeping us down a little bit here in job security. Anyway, let's move on to the club. League 2, we're looking pretty good. We're on our way up. We got Clyde moving up the charts here after our precipitous fall at the end of 2009, 2010, 2011 season when we hit rock bottom. But yeah, we're on our way back up. Hopefully this year we'll get promoted and move on up. Let's take a look at the loser to legend list, and we are still not on here. Still McKinley, Cudahy, and Miller, though, are all favored personnel. Nobody else has really changed or joined that I can tell. Let's move on to transfers. Lewis Wilson has got 3 offers. This is nothing new. This happens to Lewis every year. I think for the past 3 years, people have come and offered him, and he's just said, nah, I'll stay. Because he's on a non-contract with us, and he's been on a non-contract with us basically for his whole career. So he just likes playing here. He's fine with being a reserve, and I'm fine with having him, so it works out at the end. And as you can see, we got $97,000 left in the payroll should we encounter any emergencies or any great possibilities in the transfer market. I don't know. Because the transfer market has just recently reopened. As you can see up here, it's January 2nd. Happy New Year from the year 2021. Not much has happened, though. The only one thing that happened is one of our youngsters has started his civil service career. Alan Murray has left us on January 1st when the transfer window opened. You know, he was an okay youngster, but he's not good enough for us. So I guess he'll play for civil service, have a fine career ahead of him, you know, as a bill collector or something. I don't know. Scouting, we don't really go over scouting, so not much there. You know, we've been scouting a little bit more this year than last year. What's our search here? What are we looking for? We're looking for people with heading of at least 10. Okay, we'll clear that. We don't need that. So you can see our list of players that we've scouted. It's pretty long. It's pretty significant, especially here in mid-season. You would expect it to be that, considering, you know, we've scouted a lot of the teams in our league. So we got some good players on this list, but not necessarily anybody we want to break up team dynamics for and bring them in. You know, maybe somebody like Scott Brown, 26-year-old center midfielder who's pretty good, but we got a lot of center mids. We could use maybe another defensive mid, Ross Finney. But do we want to spend the money on him? Not necessarily. So right now we're doing okay in terms of our players, in terms of our finances, so why rock the boat? Competitions, we looked at this just a moment ago. Medical center, we got some issues here in the medical center. McKinley, Hedry, Tremble, 3 strikers. You wonder why I say you can never have enough strikers. This is why, because this would be devastating in many years to lose 3 of our top strikers like this all at once. But hey, we got so many strikers that it hasn't made really a dent. We're just going to keep rolling. We got other injuries on top of those as well. Manson, our reserve goalkeeper, lower back stress fracture. He's out 2 months. That's no good. Breslin is out. There's McKinley. There's Tremble. Stuart Morrison, another one of our defenders, is out. So as I said last episode, you can never have enough strikers. You can never have enough central defenders. And we're showing that right here because that's basically all the guys who are injured on our team are strikers and central defenders. I mean, Breslin could technically be considered a fullback, but we play him at central defense as much as we play him at fullback. So, you know, take that, basically. All right, training, staff, no changes. Dynamics, we're still looking good. Match cohesion is now up to good. We've integrated all of our new signings very well. That's what's excellent about having such a strong core of players. Even when you bring in, like this year, 9 new signees, it only takes till mid-season to get them to good match cohesion, which in our first couple of seasons when we didn't have these kind of dynamics going for us, it took all season and we didn't even get to good match cohesion. We just got to average match cohesion. So our team is playing well. They're playing together. The locker room atmosphere is good. The leadership support, of course, is very good. We still have our 2 team leaders, Cudahy and Miller. Let's take a look at the hierarchy. No highly influential players. Sort of a small group of influential players. Murtaugh has dropped some influence. Let's see why. Decreased standing recently due to his change in squad status. I mean, I guess he's become more of a reserve player. I don't think I changed his squad status particularly, did I? No, he's still listed as a key player, but he's not getting key player playing time. Although he did recently complain about playing time. We played him in a few games, and he's like, okay, I'm happy. But I guess he's lost a little status because of that. Who supports us? 22 players support us. 10 have no opinion of us. Mostly our new signees. Some of our call-ups. Guys like Wilson who... No, he supports us. Mullen. Yeah, mostly our new signees don't necessarily support us. But nobody is opposed to us, so that's good. Social groups. Interesting group of social groups we have here. Of course, our main social group is the biggest, but a few people have split off from that for some reason. You know, some of our younger players, Montgomery, Tremble, Lindsay, Leach, Cameron, and Connolly, have formed their own little social group. Players who have been at the club roughly the same amount of time and are generally balanced. So this is the balanced group. And then look down here, 2 of our older players, Miller and Murtaugh, have formed a little buddy cop duo down here. It's the lethal weapon combination right here of Miller and Murtaugh. Hopefully, you know, maybe we should play these guys a little more, because honestly, what I usually do is switch them out. As I switch out Murtaugh and Miller and sort of have them rotate. Maybe I should come up with a formation that plays them together a little bit more. Although that might freeze out some of our youngsters like Barry and Connolly, who have been trying to get more playing time with. But, you know, if these older fellas can play well together, there's no reason not to put them in there, I guess. They are technically 2 of our best players. I guess that's all we need to look. Oh, no. The schedule is what we need to look at. We haven't looked at that yet. So where did we leave off in our first quarter of the season? We were kind of up and down in our first quarter. You know, we had a lot of interesting Scottish Cup games. We've played 2 Scottish Cup games in the last 2 rounds because we just couldn't finish off some of these teams. You know, we played Arbroath to a thrilling 3-3 draw in the first match, and then we had to replay them and beat them 1-0. Same thing happened to the Spartans, a lower division team. I think they're a Lowland League. Drew with them 2-2 in the first match. I wanted to call it the first leg, but it's not supposed to be a 2-leg. It's supposed to be a 1 match, but we drew, and then we had to play them again, beat them 2-1. And so that's how we got into the 4th round. But in terms of League 2 competition, got a lot of green here. We went on a very nice winning streak, a nice 4-game winning streak there, including a 4-3 victory over Arbroath. So we had some real bangers against Arbroath. A lot of goals scored in well, 2 of the 3 matchups against them. So it's been pretty good, pretty entertaining. 3-1 versus Berwick. We've been, managing to handle some of the lower teams in the conference. But then we had one big foul up, 3-0 versus Brora. They just stomped us in front of 187 people. And I'm glad that there was only that many people there because it was kind of embarrassing. They just stuck it to us real early. Look at that, 3 goals in the first half, and then we did nothing for the whole second half. Just sort of took our beating and went home. I don't know what it was. If it was just the end of a long run. We had all those Scottish Cup games and things like that, so maybe we just got tired. But then we came back for a very, very important victory, 2-1 versus East Fife, which, as you saw, is at the top of the league right now, 1 point ahead of us. So this game helped us close the gap on them. As you can see here, Cudahy with another one of his surprise goals. Thomas, the target man, had a nice goal. We can take a look at those real quick just to sort of break up the monotony, I suppose. But yeah, East Fife has been a team that has been our bogeyman. They put us out of the playoffs. Here's Ebb. This is, I guess they scored first. And then we discovered something about our tactics. So there's Ebb heading it in over our back line, which is supposed to not give up so many headers this year, but hey, they did. So here's Thomas taking it downfield, getting it forward to Barry on the run. Look at this nice maneuver by Barry. Around the defender, crosses it straight to Thomas. And what I discovered in this second half is that I need to push my team up more. Here's Miller with a cross to Cudahy, who heads it in. Nice set play from Miller. And that was all the scoring in the game. But what I discovered is we need to do more high pressing with this team and in this league against these teams that we're playing against. Because their central defenders are very iffy with the ball, let's put it that way. They're not very sturdy on the back line in terms of ball handling. So if we can get our attacking players forward and harass them, we're going to cause problems and we're going to cause them to be tentative and not attack so much. I had that same problem just a couple of games later against Cowdenbeath. It was the same sort of situation. We can take a look at the goals here, where I decided in my ultimate wisdom that I was going to go back and play counterattack after I got ahead on these guys. So here's Moon, and there's an example of the foul up. Peters gets it to Thomas. I mean, that was just awful ball handling by their defender, and that got us an easy goal. And then I decided, you know what, let's go into counterattack and let's be conservative, right? But then that just allowed them to have control of the ball and kind of do what they want and play in our end and do that and score. So I decided, let's forget this. Let's just go pressure and let's go forward. And here we are, 86th minute. You can see all of our players coming forward, and there's Peters in the box. Puts us up 2-1, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going back to counterattack. I'm going to stay moving forward and stay attacking. And here we are putting pressure all over the field. You can see there's Miller with a save, and he gets, or steal, up to Thomas, and Thomas finishes it off. So I think this is going to be our strategy going forward, unless somebody proves us wrong. So we're going to try that in today's match versus Albion Rovers. Get to our matchup. We're going to go with the diamond formation. Ugh. Excuse me. I got to take a drink here. I'm parched. I just had like a 3-hour podcast for my comic book podcast, so I probably should have taken some time off instead of coming right into another recording session. But you know what? I'm gonna soldier on. The show must go on, right? Is that the phrase? Break a leg, all that stuff. So anyway, back to our formation. We are going with the diamond formation. We're going with our starters in this matchup, because, quite frankly, our schedule has really eased up. We've only got one game this week, one game next week, one game the week after that. So we don't really need to do the heavy amount of rotation that I have been doing for the early parts of the season. So this is going to be our best lineup, our starting lineup, players who are playing the best, all that stuff. We're going to submit the team, and let's go. Whoa. Okay, I've turned up the sound a little bit. Okay. So we got the crowd noise in the background now. Hopefully it's not too loud. Hopefully it's just the right amount of loud. Because I've been watching some of my videos and I've been noticing that the crowd sounds are... basically you can't hear them unless you got the volume turned way up. So I'm going to try to get a little bit more of that atmosphere in there. I like the crowd sounds. I like the atmosphere. I don't know if anybody else cares. But anyway, here's our lineup. Curry in goal. Stewart and Duffy at the fullbacks. Duffy has been complaining about playing time, and he's actually been outperforming our other players at fullback. We got Davies and Kessie. We're going to try to get them in there because they should be technically our best players. They're physically our best players. They're our best star rating players. It's just they're not necessarily performing the best, so maybe if we get them in there together, we can start forming some kind of partnership. Partnership's not a problem in the midfield where we have Cudahy, Miller, and Barry in the midfield. They have, a very nice partnership there. And then likewise up front, Montgomery and Thomas have formed a nice partnership. Peters is, of course, our leading goal scorer, 13 goals already on the season. Also our most assists with 7.12 rating, which is very good, but not quite as good as Thomas the target man, a 7.5 rating. This guy is playing out of his mind right now. 8 goals, 1 assist. The target man doing his job. Looks like they are going with the defensive 4-4-2. They got their captain McMillan on the left side here. Scott is their highest rated player. No, he's got the most assists. 4 assists and 5 goals. That's a lot for a winger. McPherson is their top goal scorer with 6 goals. So they don't quite have the firepower we have, but we got to keep an eye on Scott and McPherson. So let's go. I mean, I guess we can set that in the team instructions right now, eh? Why not do it, right? There's McPherson. Close down on him. And, Dan Orsi is also a problem, so I'm going to close down on him. I recognize that name from previous season. So we're going to close down on both Scott and Orsi. And there we go. All right, that's good for them. Team talk. What are we up to today, boys? What are we looking at? Calm. We have a chance to move into the top spot, so I expect you to deliver. Nobody really cares about that. Duffy listened keenly. Well, several people listened keenly, but nobody was particularly motivated by that. Here we are at home. Pretty decent crowd. We've been having, halfway decent crowds. Over 500 people a game to our home matches, which is pretty good. Not extraordinary. Oh my gosh, it's snowing. I don't think I've seen a snow game yet in FM18. So this is something new. I mean, it is January after all, so you can expect a little snow. There's Peters to Stewart out wide. He's tackled. Thomas, the target man, does not go after that ball. I'm not very happy about that. But yeah, we can take a look at our... We are going standard, but up high, tighter marking, closing down more, and work the ball in the box. So the problem with this is we could get caught on the counterattack like that, but McPherson doesn't finish. So you give up something to try and take something is how it usually works. So we're trying to take the ball higher up the pitch, get better scoring opportunities, but we might suffer a little on the back line, especially with our fullbacks ranging forward. So we are going to be maybe susceptible to the counterattack, but hopefully we can just overwhelm them with pressure enough that it won't make a difference. That is the thought anyway. That's the tactics. Let's see if we can make that true. Where's Albion? They're 7th in the league right now. All right. Oh, Orsi's been injured. Here's Stewart with a throw in to Montgomery. Montgomery to Thomas. There's a lot of men around him. Montgomery gets it back out wide to Stewart. Stewart centers to Cudahy to Miller. Barry, is he going to take a shot? Nope, drops it to Montgomery with the shot. Goes just wide. Goalkeeper was very nonplussed about that. He was just sort of let it go. There's Orsi. He's down to 58%, but he's getting a little better maybe. All right, here's Duffy with that steal. This is the pressure I was talking about. He sends it forward to Peters. Peters is an advanced forward, so this is his bread and butter. Crosses it to Thomas. Oh, his header goes just wide. And that's what I want to see. I really wish Thomas was better. I think if we had just a target man with more technical talent, I think we'd score a lot more goals. But here is Scott. And they score the first goal on a set piece. Albion goes up 1-0. Now that wasn't because of our pressure, not necessarily. I mean, maybe the foul, you could blame that on our pressure. But this wasn't a counterattack, which is what I'm concerned about. So hopefully this is just a blip in the radar, and we can... a blip in the radar? Is that something people say? I don't know. But hopefully, whatever it is, we can blip on the radar. It's something we can overcome and, score some makeup goals. Let's go, boys. The other thing about this tactic is there's not much I can do to make it more aggressive. I mean, maybe I could tell the guys to get stuck in. But at this point, if we're just going to sit here and not get any highlights, I don't know that there's much I can do about it, except maybe go into attack mode rather than standard. But I'd love to see some highlights is basically what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to take another drink of tea real quick. So it looks like the first half is going to go by. Orsi is injured. McMullen is also not looking too healthy, their captain. So that should bode well for us, but they got that first goal, so they're going to be just sitting back, I think. So we might actually want to go into control mode if they're just going to sit back in defense. So I really don't like that halftime. Looks like they subbed out Orsi. Pep talk. Let's get assertive here and say, come on, guys, show a bit of desire. You don't look like a team that wants to win. There we go. Get them pumped up. And we'll start the second half as usual, but then if we don't get any highlights, we'll go more aggressive and see what we can do. Scott sends one back. Kessie heads it on. All right. Got to see a highlight in these first 15 minutes or we're going to make some changes. Thomas is frustrated. Peters is frustrated. Cudahy, Stewart, Kessie, Duffy. We got a lot of low ratings on the back line. Not too happy about that. I mean, their ratings aren't much better than us other than Shields. Here we go. Let's go. Is this on the attack or defense? I can't tell. No, there's McPherson. So this is on the defense. Let's go, Duffy. Let's get in there. Wide shot. I guess that deflected off Duffy for a corner. Yep. Here's a corner for Albion. Far side. Scott sends it near post. Cudahy heads it away, but the other Scott is going to grab it. They got too many Scotts on this team. Is that a joke? I don't know. Is that a pun? What do you consider that in the Scottish League? Too many Scots? Anyway. Oh, there's Brown. Oh, I thought he was going to mess that one up, but I guess not. 55 minutes. We're closing in on that 60-minute point where we're going to have to make some changes. All right, so let's go attacking. Let's get stuck in. Let's be more expressive. Let's go all out, boys. Let's go. I was about to yell at him, but here's a highlight. Shields. There's Scott, the number 7. He sends it deep, but there's Kessie. Kessie sends it back to Curry. Thank you for that. Was a nice pass. Even if Curry had not been paying attention currently, that wouldn't have gone in the goal. Kessie booting it forward for Peters. He wins it, sort of. Thomas is all alone back there. He has to drop it back to Miller. Gets it back to Montgomery. Montgomery starts the offense out wide. Peters is going to intercept it, but he gets the ball stolen. McMillan, Tennant, there's the mistake we're looking for, and there's this combination we're looking for. Peters to Thomas for the goal. There we go. Tie it up with 63 minutes gone. So this is our new philosophy. I mean, I don't know if it's a great philosophy because it's basically you're hoping the other team messes up and provides you with an opportunity. But it seems to be working. It seems to be a good philosophy for this level of play. You know, it's sort of like the old hoofball that a lot of people play, where they just sort of bash it downfield and wait for the other team's central defenders to misplay a ball. It's kind of like that, but maybe a little bit more methodical than just blasting it downfield. We're actually, you know, moving up the field and pressuring. Also, it's maybe a little bit more risky than just bombing the ball downfield. All right, here's McKenna. I guess we could dial it back a little bit. Shields has it. Davies almost gets the steal. We could dial back the get stuck in part because I don't know that we need to be running around getting yellow cards. Miller already has a yellow card. Here's a throw in. Stewart gets it to Thomas. He wins that header in traffic. Nice play. Cudahy, though. Bad pass, but it bounces to Stewart. Gets it to Peters. He's got all the time in the world to line up his shot. But it's deflected and out of touch. So there's going to be a corner on the near side. Miller, let's see if he can work some magic. Sends it in. Nobody there but the defense. But Montgomery manages to track it down. Got to reset the offense here, boys. Get back in your positions. Cudahy's going to stall here. Get it out wide to Miller. Miller's going to go wide. That's maybe not his best position, but Stewart, Cudahy, Barry. All right, Stewart's gone wide. Barry, that was an awful pass. And here comes Albion on the counterattack. The Rovers, Davies, nice play. Sends it downfield. Thomas doesn't really have great foot speed. We'll see if Lightbody can mess it up. No, he gets it to the goalkeeper. The highlight continues, though. Highlight continues. Duffy sort of wins of header, and okay. All right. Substitutions. No, that didn't work. Substitutions. How many times we got to click on one button before it works? So we got Miller, 6.7 rating, and a yellow card. I think we need to get the yellow card out of there. So we're going to bring in his main man, Murtaugh, to play for him. And then Duffy, not looking too healthy out there. We're going to bring in Finlayson, which is technically an upgrade at fullback. I mean, Finlayson should be a better player than Duffy. He just hasn't been playing better lately. The two of them, honestly, have been trading off bad and good performances. So maybe since Duffy's playing not so good, Finlayson will play better and we'll get a little bit more out of that fullback position. So let's go, boys. 77 minutes and counting. McMullen is still limping around there on the back line. Left side 6.0 rating, 56% health. So if we could go at McMullen, that would be nice. 79 minutes. All right, now that we got the yellow card out of there, I guess we'll add stuck in back again. That seemed to be when our team responded, was when we made the stuck in changes. So let's go. We can yell at them. Get creative. You know, because we don't want to take a draw here. Definitely want to win against Albion. But it doesn't look like it's going to be happening. 89 minutes. We're in attack already. I mean, I don't know that there's much else we can do. 3 minutes of added time. Let's see if we can get the old extra time goal. 91 minutes, 92. Doesn't look that way. This is probably the final highlight of the game. Potts to McPhee. Slow playing it. There's a nice mess up. Finlayson, though, he just blasts it forward. I don't like this. Don't like this. Shields. Oh, my God. Wow. So I guess we should have not been so confident. Should have dialed it back at the end to preserve the draw, but we're thinking about the win. Finlayson, not a great play. And then Kessie gets beat on the back line by Shields, and they get the last minute goal. Brutal, honestly. Another brutal finish for Clyde FC as Murtaugh sends it forward for Thomas. Can he get on the end of it? Nope, doesn't look that way. And there's the final whistle. Wow. What a way to lose it. Another heartbreaker, and that's going to drop us back in the table. Team talk, simply put, not good enough. Get out of here. Unbelievable to lose in that fashion. Let's take a look at the competitions. What are we looking at here? Well, looks like East Fife didn't win. Looks like Bora didn't win, so it looks like we all suffered upsets here. And so that didn't really have much of an effect on the table at all. So I guess we got away with one there. All right, can't let that happen too often because we're not going to get reprieves like that every week. So here we are. We got a couple of road games coming up. Berwick, and then Annan, and then a Broth again, and then Brora again. So we got some important games coming up. And we'll come back three-quarter season. So probably for Cowdenbeath will be the game we'll come back and take a look at. Or Albion again. Yeah, maybe we'll come back and get our revenge on Albion. That might be the game. Anyway, somewhere around there we'll come back for our three-quarter season update. And that was just disappointing. But you know, that's Football Manager, I guess. Anyway, we're going to end it there. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
There's a team they call the Clyde, who will fill your heart with pride. Dressed up in the red and black, we an L sign on the back. They've a winger and a keeper and a great big carpet sweeper. It's the bully.